Hold up.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It is FoxyDude98 here, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2016 career mode with McLaren Honda. Today we are back for round 16 of the Malaysian Grand Prix. Now, in the previous episode, it was the Singapore Grand Prix, and I'm actually recording this race about 2 hours before the actual Singapore Grand Prix itself happens, with Rosberg qualifying on pole. So I'll be watching that as soon. I'll be uploading this as soon as the Singapore Grand Prix finishes. But if you do enjoy today's video, drop a like, that'd be absolutely awesome. Subscribe if you're new around here. We've had amazing support recently for my F1 videos, and my videos in general really have just had a bit of a mini view spike, which is absolutely incredible, and I really do appreciate it that you guys are tuning into my videos. But today we are here in Malaysia for the Malaysian Grand Prix. As you can see there, we're having a look at what we've done in the previous races, the development system, the R&D development system. We've actually ceased all R&D developments now until next season. And of course, the objective is to try and win a championship with McLaren. So hopefully we can get many resource points for the next season. And people, before that actually gets asked, will I be doing another season with McLaren Honda? Yes, unless I win this championship. If I win the championship this season, then my objective is set for this career mode. I've got nothing else to achieve. But if I can't win it, I'll be going back into another season, putting in more development into the car and going from there. But anyway, we head into the practice programs for the Malaysian Grand Prix. The practice programs kind of don't really mean as much now, of course, because these are not going to be going towards any more developments for this season. However, of course, once we collect all of our R&D points until the end of the season, we'll be getting an extra 25% bonus of all the R&D points that we currently have at the end of the season to go into next season's development as well. So we'll definitely be looking to try and put those in. But you can see there, we completed the track acclimatization program, and then we completed the tire wear test program, and then we move on to the qualifying simulation run. And once again, here on the soft tires, we go through and we beat the objective that the team set us there for practice. And as you can see, there are the resource points coming in. And you can see we currently have 280 or 200 resource points. And Emma's now going to give the objective goals for qualifying, what she wants us to achieve, what she thinks we should be achieving in qualifying. And there they are on your screen. Very difficult qualifying goals now from McLaren. They're expecting a lot of us now. But we move on into the first part of qualifying here, coming round the final corner. We actually set our lap time here on the medium compound tyres, so the slower of the three, the second slowest. We've got the softs, mediums, and the hards. But we managed to get through on the medium compound tyres. We qualified there in 13th on the mediums. I just wanted to save myself a set of soft tyres because I wasn't going to use all the mediums. I thought I might as well save some soft tyres so I could use those in qualifying. We move on into qualifying 2, and you can see that we're coming around the final corner once again with the sunset just beaming down on our face, and we come through there to go P4 in that session, which I believe drops to about P8 at the end of the session. Yeah, P8 at the end of the session there. So Nico Rosberg, though, surprisingly, he's going to be starting the race on the medium compound tyres because that's what he's qualified on. So an interesting strategy from Nico Rosberg. And we're coming through the final corner now on our Q3 run, as we tried our best to really get as much out of the car as we possibly could. A little bit late on the DRS, Raikkonen coming through and setting the fastest lap, and that lap was only good enough to get us P5, and unfortunately we actually ended up dropping back down to P8 with once again Jenson Button out qualifying us, Vettel and Raikkonen with an all Ferrari front row and an all Mercedes second row, an all Red Bull third row, and then an all McLaren fourth row. So that's literally the exact graph of the vehicle performance comparison chart is Ferrari, Mercedes. Actually, no, it's me and then okay, never mind. Red Bull have raped us. Never mind. But we're picking up our resource points here, and again, Nico Rosberg out-qualified us, so he's going to be getting all of the objectives. And unfortunately, you can see there we lost a lot in the driver position. We actually lost 2 points because we didn't beat Button and we didn't qualify above 4th place. But the race goals are there set on your screens. So that's it for practice and qualifying. But yeah, that's all we got. So let's get into the race for the Malaysian Grand Prix.
From uncompromising heat to unrelenting storms, you never know quite what you're going to get here in Kuala Lumpur. The inaugural race in 1999 was the last of 4 Grand Prix victories for Northern Ireland's Eddie Irvine. I wonder who'll be adding their name to that history today. 5 lefts and 10 rights make up the 15 corners of Sepang's 3.4-mile circuit. a track where the weather always threatens to play a deciding factor. The drivers will be subjected to forces in excess of 4G and heavy braking zones in 4 of these corners, 2 of which come at the end of DRS zones into turn 1 and to turn 15. And alongside me today to talk you through all that is Anthony Davidson. And welcome again. It's good to be back in Kuala Lumpur, isn't it? A lovely country, Malaysia, lovely circuit, and a race that tends to be quite hard to predict.
Yeah, it does indeed. There are a lot of high-energy corners that make the rear tyres suffer around here. Coupled with the excessive heat, that makes it difficult to keep your tyres in the right operating window. And of course, in previous years, we've come here very early in the season, which shows a potential reliability variable in there as well.
We need a good result today if we want to catch Hamilton in the Drivers' Championship.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Kimi Raikkonen starts today from pole position, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Rosberg, Daniel Ricciardo, and Verstappen, Button, and a McLaren, Massa, and Daniel Kvyat, Grosjean, Bottas, Esteban Gutierrez, and Sainz, Palmer, Hülkenberg, Sergio Perez, and Kevin Magnussen, Wehrlein, and Harry Anto, Marcus Ericsson, and Felipe Nasser starts from the back of the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Alright then, so as you can see, we are on the track ready for the Malaysian Grand Prix, and the strategy has been set for the soft tyres to start with, and then going all the way to the hard compound tyres. I tried to see if I could go onto the medium tyres instead of the hard tyres. Unfortunately, it was only the hard tyres we could choose. They're obviously a mandatory set, so we have to run those in the race. But it feels weird coming back to Malaysia at this point in the season. Of course, Malaysia is normally a round 2, round 3. Normally a round 2 season, so it'll be Australia, then Malaysia. But now Malaysia, of course, is in the back end of the season. It's changed on the calendar, so it feels a bit weird. But we're going to be starting 8th for this race. I would have liked to have started a bit higher. But again, Jenson Button out-qualifying me. And that's because the AI actually recognizes your setup and they actually run it. So Button's obviously been running my setup that I'm using, and it propelled him up the field, which is fine because I'm clearly quicker in the races, but Jenson's definitely going to want to use those setups. But we're coming now towards the 5 red lights. 5 red lights are on, and it is going to be lights out, and away we go for the Malaysian Grand Prix. A bit of an okay start from us. It appears that Kimi Raikkonen's bogged down off the line, and we have literally been completely sandwiched. The entire track, it's 4 abreast going into turn 1. We're just going to have to brake super early, nice and patiently. We go really, really wide into turn 1, which is going to allow us more speed, and then we're going to lunge our car down into turn 2, and we managed to make it stick. And my teammate Jenson Button also making massive progress there. Myself and Jenson, we started 7th and 8th, and now we are 4th and 5th. Really good progress here, but we get a good run on Jenson Button, and going up into turn 4, we make that move on Jenson Button, and we have propelled ourselves up into 4th place. 4 places gained on the first lap. A fabulous start for us as we come now down towards what I thought was a very difficult middle sector. Very hard for me to get this one right. We go super wide there, have to back off of the throttle there, going a little bit wide onto the grass. And out front, I believe Vettel leads, Hamilton second, Raikkonen third. But Raikkonen is pressuring Hamilton all the time because in the vehicle performance comparison, the Ferraris have overtaken Mercedes as the new fastest cars on the grid. So Ferrari are definitely going to be quick round here. And with Hamilton getting in front of Raikkonen, Raikkonen's going to get frustrated with that. And he's definitely going to want to start to try and get in front of him as quickly as possible. But we move on now towards the back end of the circuit. Again, we show the full lap here. And it's just literally trying to settle into the race now. The Ferraris and the Mercedes driver have all built themselves quite a big gap already, so it's going to be difficult to get past them straight away, but hopefully we can try and make some inroads on the lead cars as we come now down towards the final corner. You can see Raikkonen here making a move on Lewis Hamilton down the inside into the final corner. Raikkonen makes that move stick, a brilliant move for the Ferrari driver. Hamilton has been relegated into 3rd place, and at the end of the first lap, it's been a very clean and very calm first lap from us, and we don't qualify. We're currently in 4th place at the end of quite a decent first lap, and no safety cars this time. So yeah, that's kind of useful. So we're coming down towards turn 2 now. But let's get a replay of that entire first lap to start and just go through it. So Hamilton actually gets a very good start from 3rd place. It's Raikkonen that actually bogs down a bit on the line. And you can see there, look, it's 4 abreast. It's 4 abreast with Rosberg, Ricciardo, I believe that is, Raikkonen and Hamilton. So I decided to take the long route right around the outside, which is going to give me a lot more speed, and then I'm allowed to lunge the car down the inside of the 2 Red Bulls, and I'm attacking my teammate Jenson Button. And for some reason in the theatre mode, you can see it's glitched, because Button's actually on the hard tyres here in this replay cam, but you saw that he's actually running the soft tyres, so just a little bit of a glitch in the game, which is something I haven't actually spotted. We go down the inside of Jenson Button there, making that move nice and clean as we do our late braking manoeuvres as we tend to do throughout this entire season. But then we come through the middle sector again, my weakest sector on the entire circuit by a long distance. I really did struggle in the middle sector, especially in practice, in qualifying, and even in the race. This little segment here was so hard for me to really execute. I was always struggling to do it right. You can see their Vettel leads with Raikkonen literally all over the rear wing of Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton really under pressure here in Malaysia. Of course, the Ferraris have definitely turned into the fastest car, and Lewis Hamilton really just needs to hold his ground, and hopefully he can try and make some inroads in the Ferraris and try and hold off Raikkonen. Because you can see there, we're coming through the back end of the middle sector now. Rosberg being pressured there by one of the Red Bulls. I think that's Max Verstappen actually. As we come now down the long back straight here. Jenson Button's got a good toe on us, so he's going to be able to try and make some inroads, but he doesn't quite do that. You can see we start to pull away, breaking down into the final corner. There's Raikkonen's move on Lewis Hamilton. The Red Bull actually did make a move. Did he make it stick on Rosberg? He did. Verstappen actually made the move stick on Rosberg, so a good move there for Max Verstappen. So Mercedes having some problems, both losing drivers, and I believe that is Esteban Gutierrez having a run on Nico Rosberg going down into turn 1. So problems for Rosberg. We skip ahead to lap 3 of the Grand Prix. DRS has been enabled, and we are beginning to catch Lewis Hamilton, and we have been doing for a few laps now. And Jenson Button, my teammate, is also closing in on Hamilton. I've been dragging my teammate along with me, and now we start to make the run against Lewis Hamilton as we make our way towards turn 4. And hopefully we can try and get this move done coming up the hill. You can see the Ferraris getting a little bit toasty between each other. Down the inside of Lewis Hamilton, we make the move stick on Hamilton, and that is us up into 3rd place now. And we are now the best of the rest, and our mission now is to go and hunt down these Ferrari drivers. But unfortunately, back end of lap 3, again, our middle sector has been poor. The 2 Ferraris have pulled away, and Lewis Hamilton fancies another run on us. He wants that 3rd place back. He said, Tom, look, you've had that 3rd place now, and I kind of want it back. You know, I wanted to give it to you. It's just like a little present. But unfortunately, Lewis Hamilton decides it's time for an attack, and he goes to the left-hand side of the circuit. DRS has been enabled. He brakes nice and late, but we have the inside line into the 1st corner. Hamilton's just got to hold it on, and he can take the inside line into the 2nd part of the corner, but we carried too much speed into turn 1, and Lewis Hamilton was unable to make the move stick as we come now charging down towards turn 4. Can Lewis Hamilton make a move? He's too far back. No moves there for Lewis Hamilton. As we skip now to lap 4 of the Grand Prix, this is actually the lap of our pit lap. So we're going to be coming into the pits at the end of this lap. Hamilton here with DRS so fast down the straight, but we're coming through this difficult pit entry. I find this one quite a difficult pit entry to do, but we do it quite nicely, and we come towards our pit entrance now here. Braking nice and late for the 50-kilometer mark, and we're coming into the pits. Now, something that didn't actually, I forgot to show in the pit lane, a virtual safety car actually came on whilst we were in the middle of the pit lane. And unfortunately, it was my teammate Jenson Button. Button actually ended up having an engine failure, and a virtual safety car came out. So problems for us at McLaren. And you can see there's my name there on top of the garage board. But unfortunately, problems for my teammate. And also we got held up in the pits. We lost our positions to Ricardo and Hamilton. And before you say, oh Tom, there was no safety car, stop lying, stop giving excuses. There's the safety car for you. Jenson Button's out of this race, and a virtual safety car. So if you don't know what a virtual safety car is, basically the race is theoretically stopped, but not necessarily. All the drivers have to stick to a specific delta and slow down and make sure they match that delta speed, whilst whatever it is being cleared away. But on this game, of course, the virtual safety car, as soon as it ends, the DRS is automatically enabled, whereas in real life you have to wait 3 racing laps. So the virtual safety car is ending, and because it's ending, I decided to go quicker than the delta time, because you have to wait 15 seconds before you get a penalty. So the tip, if you're in a virtual safety car situation, once it says it's ending, speed up, go faster than the delta time, because by the time it ends, the countdown won't have reached 0 for you to get a penalty. A little cheeky tip there if you want to try and get closer to your opponents if you're trying to do some racing. But we are back on board with ourselves here. Daniel Ricciardo now coming towards. He's got DRS touch on Lewis Hamilton, and I've got DRS on Daniel Ricciardo. Kimi Raikkonen actually stayed out during the virtual safety car period, which may or may not have been a mistake. We'll have to find out when he comes out of the pits. completes his stop. But you can see we are making roads on Daniel Ricciardo. He's got DRS, I believe, on Lewis Hamilton, but we've got DRS on Daniel Ricciardo. And coming down the inside of Ricciardo into turn 1, we make a super late braking move. There's Raikkonen coming out of the pits, nearly brushing rear wheel with front wing on Raikkonen, but we managed to get ahead of Kimi Raikkonen, and we leapfrogged Raikkonen actually, because Raikkonen of course was in second battling Vettel for the lead. Now we've leapfrogged him, but we skip further on into lap 6, and Hamilton's actually stuck behind Pascal Wehrlein, and we make massive progress here, and we break super late down the inside of Hamilton and down the inside of Pascal Wehrlein. So Wehrlein being an absolute legend in the Manor car, holding up Hamilton through the middle sector, and we got past Pascal Wehrlein. Hamilton's going to have DRS, and he's going to get straight past Pascal Wehrlein, so no problems for him. But we go super wide into the final corner, and Lewis Hamilton now alongside us. He ducks back into the slipstream of our car. For some reason, he hasn't got DRS, and I've got DRS, so this is going to be our attempt to try and stop Hamilton, but he decides to try and go for it down into turn 1. Lewis Hamilton is going to be right round the inside. We've just got to hold it round the outside, and then for the inside line down into turn 2. There it is, a good defensive move from ourselves here on lap 7 of this Malaysian Grand Prix. A lot of action going on in this race at the moment, but we skip ahead to the end of lap 7, and Lewis Hamilton once again is gonna have DRS on us down this long straight. You can see him there really starting to make in some inroads. I definitely had a lot of traction, and I was able to hold off the Mercedes drivers, especially through this straight. Breaking down into the final corner, you can see Hamilton doesn't quite get the move on us, but you can see just from that one DRS zone how much he's closed in on us, and you can see it again here. Hamilton is definitely closer to us as we make the run down towards someone. Hamilton moves to the right hand side of the circuit. Ricciardo and Raikkonen waiting in the wings for any moves or any mistakes that any of us make. Down the inside, Hamilton tries to make the move stick, but we managed to hold off around the outside, getting the inside line into turn 2. Hamilton, I believe, defended off Ricciardo. I'm trying to look. Yeah, Hamilton got in front of Ricciardo, so he didn't lose out anything. But this is a crucial move here. This is absolutely crucial. Coming up to turn 4, we're making it a dive down the inside of Rio Haryanto. Now, Haryanto hasn't pitted yet, and Haryanto is now in 3rd place. However, throughout the entire middle sector, that Hamilton, Ricciardo, and Raikkonen could not get past Haryanto, and I managed to build a gap. And you can see here on lap 12 of the Grand Prix, Raikkonen has now closed in on us, so it's taken them 4 laps, and now this is where it's getting really difficult for me now. The rain has actually started falling here, so the track is a lot slipperier, my tyres are colder, and I've also got the pressure of Hamilton, Ricciardo, and Raikkonen all stalking my arsehole right now, so it's getting really intense for me at the moment in the wheel of my McLaren Honda, and we start to accelerate away. You can see the traction that we can get out of the corners, but then the DRS, you can see it there in the slipstream. Raikkonen's just got so much pace and goes straight round us, but I thought, nah, I'd rather you didn't get through, so I fend off Raikkonen. Then I've got to cut in the inside because Ricciardo fancies a run on us, because he's actually jumped Kimi Raikkonen at this stage. Lap 13 of the Grand Prix, 2 more laps to go of this race. We've just got to hold on in there, and hopefully we can try and secure what's going to be 2nd place in this race. Sebastian Vettel has absolutely is just literally found another level. We have not got the pace to beat Vettel. You can see the rain on the screen of my car to show that it is really actually quite wet out there today. And Ricciardo now getting the DRS. Can he make a move on us? Again, we've got speed in this McLaren. We've got the speed, but the DRS, the double DRS and how it is positioned around here, it's just literally a nightmare, because you can see, look, you can see the proximity arrow. It's disappeared because we've got the traction. And then look, the proximity arrow comes back because of the DRS and the slipstream. And I just failed to get away. You can see Vettel there has already exited turn 2 as we're coming through turn 1. Last lap of the Grand Prix, we go super wide into turn 1. Ricciardo thinks about having a move on us, but we go down the inside of Ricciardo there into turn 2, and we fend off our position there. And we skip ahead then to the end of lap 14. DRS has been disabled now. The rain has really started to come down, but it's not going to matter. Sebastian Vettel goes and wins this race and ends our chance of a hat-trick of wins in Formula 1. But we're going to come through and take home 2nd place, which is not a bad result whatsoever. We started in 8th place and we managed to get yet another podium. For that, I don't really mind that. 2nd place is a very decent result for us, and we'll take that. Maurizio Arrivabene there, really happy to see his team finally coming through and winning a race. It's been a while, I think, since Ferrari have actually won a race, and I can't remember Vettel winning a race, actually. The last time I remember Ferrari winning was, I believe, no, it wasn't Germany, because we won in Italy and in Singapore. Hamilton won in Belgium and in Germany. Ricciardo won in Hungary, So in Silverstone, it was in Silverstone the last time. So the British Grand Prix was the last time Ferrari got a win. So it's been a super long time for Ferrari and a long time coming. I'm pretty sure they're ecstatic with that. But if you did enjoy today's race, make sure to drop a like. It'd be absolutely awesome. A lot of battles and a lot of action in today's race. It was definitely an action-packed Grand Prix. A very difficult one for myself, especially when the track started to turn wet. The DRS was disabled at the end of the final lap. But luckily the other AI drivers struggled as well, so we didn't lose out too much time there. Second place is a very nice result for us. We will take that, and that is going to make sure, and Hamilton actually only finished 4th, which means that we're going to close the gap between me and Hamilton in the Drivers' Championship. So yeah, if you I really am challenging the Mercedes cars for this championship, because that's the objective I've set. If I don't win the championship this season, I've got to go back next season and we've got to do it again. And we've got to be even quicker, even faster. And there it is on your screens, guys. Hamilton there, finished still in front of us in the driver's standings. But that's going to be it for the Malaysian Grand Prix. If you did enjoy the video, drop a like on it. You've been absolutely awesome with the support over the recent few videos. It's been absolutely awesome. I will be attempting to do a live stream later tonight. I forgot to say that at the start of the video. I don't know what time. I think it'll be 8 PM UK time. Only a short one though, because I know people have got college and I'm starting my university course tomorrow. So I won't be doing it very late at all. The final resource points, and we do actually get a voicemail again from Emma, and it was just like the one in the Belgian Grand Prix when they were saying, look, you've been doing really well, keep it up. But until then, guys, I will see you what is going to be next, the Japanese Grand Prix. So yeah, stay tuned for the Japanese Grand Prix next, and I'll see you guys there. Take care, peace.
Your performance came up and they're very